Okay. We're rolling.
Rolling.
Rolling. Rolling. Where am I going to stand? Am I in the camera? If I stand over here?
Probably need to just do this. That would have done it, but it's not
We
not
can put
flat.
one of these boxes,
No, it's not flat.
these jumbo boxes of 12 rolls of toilet tissue right here. Why do we have toilet tissue? Just think, in the end of the world, what is the one thing you would want to have? There's a lot of one things I would want to have. Somebody actually even asked that. But imagine if you didn't have toilet paper. Have you ever taken that into account?
Yes, I had toilet paper in the Temecula stash. I do not. I have not rebuilt the. I haven't rebuilt the Tennessee stash.
What did you do with the toilet paper?
I left it.
I have $20,000 invested in toilet paper.
I know you do.
We can't leave
I didn't.
toilet paper.
I kind of didn't have 20,000. My thing is 90 days.
90 days. All right.
You want to have 90 days. You want to have 90 days of your supplies ready to go.
We got to start dating these. We got to start timestamp. We had some little cunt
Was mad because we didn't timestamp it.
He's like, they low key made this pot. The dude went out on the internet, went fucking crazy, talking all this shit. He's like, they low key made this this whole podcast is about me. I'm like, don't flatter. Stick some cocks back in your mouth. This video was made before you showed up commenting. So it is 12:53 Friday afternoon, December 28th. This is the
bunker.
4th episode of the podcast, In the Bunker. I just made a post on a couple of the closed groups and said, hey, post some comments. It can be as to what you want to hear on the podcast. I said it can be gear related, it can be business related, just whatever you want to know, just comment it. But I want to start with...
By the way, I hate these because John's just like, boom!
He doesn't... Yeah, I have not
National
even read
debt,
these.
what do you think? Boom! Like, I don't get an opportunity to fucking, like...
I've not even read most of
Let me
these.
deep think about this.
But I do want to... And I'm going somewhere with this. Yeah, I had to shift my balls. I'm going somewhere with this. I just saw a buddy of mine who... He changed his Facebook page to private or friends only, so only friends could see it. And they called this chick out, and they're like, hey, I heard you smoke weed, basically. And a bunch of dudes, like a couple dudes are like, hey, I realize this is funny, but it's not a joking matter nowadays. And everybody's like, no, it's cool. She'll may have it deleted if she wants it deleted. Well, in the end, it was deleted. I don't know whether she wanted it deleted or not. My point to this is, it's all fun and games until it's not fun and games anymore. It's all a joke until you're being questioned by somebody that believes it's not a joke. And the way the world is now, it's changed a lot. Like, with everything is so fast interacting, and there's not repercussions for things, so people will take other methods to punish you or give you a repercussion. And good examples are, you will see dudes come onto our page and talk all kinds of shit on our Facebook pages anonymously. But there's a lot of dudes out there watching that. You got to remember there's 700,000 people on our Facebook page. And just because they're not commenting doesn't mean they don't see it. So what happens is, here's a good example. A dude will come out and say some heinous shit or talk some shit, and guys will find out who he is, and they will go find out who he really is, and then they will tank the star rating on his fucking business. Or they will screenshot what he's saying and post it on the corporations that he works for's open public Facebook page. Or they will find... From the open public Facebook page, they'll find the CEO of the company and fucking start sending screenshots of these dudes to them. Another example is, a dude came on our page talking just crazy shit, like this stuff's overrated, it fucking costs way too much. It was on an auction. And somebody goes, hey, you should be careful, man. Like, what do you stand to gain? That's always my thing. I'm like, with what your action is about to be, whether it's positive or negative, what are the repercussions of it? Like, what can you lose from this? And the kid's like, what, are you going to get me fired from my shitty ammo stocking job at Gander Mountain? I didn't know anybody at Gander Mountain. Not corporate-wise. And within about fucking 20 minutes, somebody showed up and said, I am your district manager. You are relieved of duty. We will have your final check on Monday. Turn in your uniforms. And that all happened just fucking by running your mouth out in public. Now, where I'm going with this is, this chick she has a profession. And I think that smoking weed would preclude her from her licensing for her profession. So, with that, not only that, she's a gun chick. A lot of people in the profession probably don't like gun chicks. She's a member of several of our, not just my group, but many other groups related to us in the industry.
Do I know who she is?
You would recognize her name. I'll tell you when we're done here. But the thing is, people can't get me, but because she posts on, in favor of us, or in favor of TAC Response, or in favor of Mookie, people will try to damage you nowadays. And if this got out, and you never know who's fucking seeing what. I mean, if you post something, you have to always assume that if you are posting or saying something, there will nowadays be a record of it. So all it takes is some dude, and your friend today might not be your friend tomorrow. How many dudes do we know that got fucked up over by their fucking women?
Yeah.
Or fucking chicks get fucked over by your chick, you're in love right now, but when your fucking wife is your ex-wife, she's telling all your secrets.
All bets are off, yeah.
So my point is, while yes, it's funny, yes, it was meant as a joke, all it takes is somebody in one of these groups seeing this shit to take it to her boss, and now she has lost her licensing over this shit. And it doesn't even have to be that they give a fuck about that. They're just trying to punish her for something else. Just remember when I say that, what comes to mind to you? The situation, any situation we had that was like that. Anything? Nothing stands out?
No, I mean,
I used to joke all the time. I used to joke all the time with these chicks. We had a bunch of whores around. And we used to always just joke with them. 3 sisters. One night. 3 sisters. All 3 sisters.
I don't think they were really related. I think that was a story they told people. But anyways.
So, the point is, I used to joke with them. I'm like, hey, go get my whatever, rub my feet, whatever, just joking. And they'd say something smart ass, like, bitch, I'll bury you in the desert next to the other one. And what fucking happened? I said this so frequently that it just flowed easily flowed.
That's the first question I was asked, is where was the dead girl?
For 72 hours, when Jeff was detained, the first 3 days, they wanted to know where the dead bitches in the desert were.
Where the dead bitches were.
And it was a joke. We could go on for, I don't know, tell the fucking story. It's worth hearing. It's a funny story. They'll like it.
About the dead bitches?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so when they pulled me in for this big multi-jurisdictional investigation, so they got Jared Johnson in the room next to me. And all they asked him about, what was funny is all they asked him about while he was there was a smoke grenade.
I think he was part of it.
Well, they were asking him about a smoke grenade. They're like, where'd you get the smoke grenade?
Think about it. I really think he was I think he was working with them or feeding info or something. I think he was because he fucking ghosted, man.
I don't think so. I think he was just, I think the reason why he did that was because
he didn't want to be one of the big boys.
He kind of, when you think about it, he kind of escaped, right? So
what could they have got him for?
I'm just saying that I think he was just they had taken him in there and he still had a lot left on his contract.
Gotcha.
That it was just I
okay.
need to just keep my mouth shut and fucking hang out. Okay. But anyways, so when they brought me in, the only question they had was, where are the dead chicks? Or where's the dead girlfriend? And I'm like, in my head I'm thinking, what the fuck are you guys talking? Because if you ever get pulled over or you ever get picked up by the police, I know there are some of you out there that are going to be like, I've never done anything wrong. When that actually happens, there's going to be a million things that go through your head where you're like, what the fuck am I really in here for?
Hold on, there's a book called 3 Felonies a Day. The average U.S. citizen commits 3 felonies every day, and they are felonies that you don't know are even laws. If they want you, they got something on everybody. All they got to do is come in and start looking. Everybody has something, whether you know you have it or not. It just depends what agency wants you.
Yeah, just think the federal government just put somebody in jail for 17 days.
$43 million investigation.
They put him in jail for 17 days.
Our investigation was 2.5 years, $1.8 million spent on our investigation. Followed us to Las Vegas
with a helicopter
3 times. They had no photos of any crimes committed. They had some cool ass. I wish I had some of the fucking photos they had. They had some photos of us doing fucking awesome shit, like cool shit. They didn't have any crimes on photo.
Anyways, that's the only thing they wanted to know. They wanted to know where John was, where the dead girls was. And I'm like, in my head, I know all of John's girlfriends. So I'm like going through. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I go, there's no dead girl. And they're like, no, we know that he killed a girl and she's buried in the desert. And all I could think of, I don't remember her name, was there was an accident at the shop where one of the girls fell through a window. Was it the shop or was it the apartment?
It's the apartment.
She fell through a window and cut her arm really bad. And had to be. She was life flighted, right? Do I remember that right?
I don't know if they life flighted her or not.
It was bad. Where she had to, be rushed to the hospital. And I'm like, I know she didn't die. I'm like trying to think in my head who these girls were, but it's just, it's funny what you think you're going to be asked, like all the questions you think you're going to be asked, and then what they're really
asking you about is some shit
what they're
you don't
really
know
asking
dick
about. You're just like, what? What are you talking about? Dead girls? I know all of them.
I know all the dead girls.
I know all of them.
Okay, so I just put out there, hey, ask some questions on a couple of the groups.
Zane, don't you have anything better to do? God, you commented like 50 times.
Zane did not have a lot going on today. Do you ever get creative block? And if so, what do you do to get past and create? A lot of cocaine. No. I've never done cocaine. Although that'll probably be fucking all over the place right now. I don't know.
Edit out never.
I don't know. Of course, we get block, but usually it's like, okay, I want to make something new. If I have a target, if I have a destination or a direction, it's not a problem. Like usually anything, if I'm just stuck on how to make something go together, and it's usually putting things together is usually we've added too much. We need the features of the function, but we need to delete things to make them fit. It's usually the thickness and the ability. And can I build it? Because I can build it doesn't mean we can produce
it, yeah.
100 of them next week. It has to be built in a manner we get the function and then figure out how to do it so that we can produce it in quantity.
There is literally 100 things. Like if we go out there are 100 things out there that are fucking awesome, and I'm like, build it. And he'll do the same thing every time. He'll be like, they just can't build it on the floor.
We can't duplicate it.
We can't duplicate it. Not in a time and a fashion that would, be feasible.
So the block thing, usually if it's just something like we know we are going to do this and it has to happen, it's usually just a matter of walking away and doing something else. And a shower, really, I can go fucking stand in the shower for 20 minutes, throw some music or something on, and the solution, it's not even really that I visualize it or I see it. When I'm done, the answer's there. It's just in place. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Just get away from whatever it is you're working on and do something else that is semi-complicated. Because once you start thinking about it, when you go back to think about it, you're going to have the solution. It's kind of like when you lose your keys. When you lose your keys or you lose something, and you're like, where the fuck? And you can't find your keys, If you, instead of thinking about where your keys are, if you start thinking about what you were doing the last time you had your keys, then it will put you in the area where your keys are.
Yeah, exactly. Zane again.
Zane!
What is the most important thing a startup business needs to know or do at the beginning? That could be a lot of... I guess it kind of depends who you are. Like, I guess, why are you starting a business? That's the biggest thing. Like, if you have something that you love doing and you can turn it into a business, that's going to be your best business. Like, Jeff will tell you that I've built my own little fucking POW camp around here. We've been fucking with this stuff for 30 years now. Like, really, making money for 30 years. Couldn't, quit my job and pay my bills and have all the things I want for 30 years. But it's been making money for 30 years. And most of the first 10 years where I had other fucking jobs or bullshit jobs, I had a lot of jobs. I'd hold 3 jobs at a time or 2 jobs. And then I'd finally, I was delivering newspapers for Wall Street Journal, Investors Business Daily, and the New York Times. It was a 14-mile route. I drove it in a Nissan Sentra. I made $3,500 a month. That was 30 years ago almost. I did that for years. $3,500 a month. I was comfortable. I didn't have to quit my job, so I tried to keep that because of the unknown. I tried to keep that $3,500 back then was a lot of fucking money, especially for a kid who just no alcohol habits, no fucking drug habits, literally just like toys. I just like to do shit. So I never went to a club, never went to a bar. So that money went fucking far. You know, I didn't have habits like that. So until they fired me. Like that was like we'd go to so many gun shows, so many trade shows, and they'd go so well, and I'd come back and I'd be building shit all night long and wake up the next night, you know, because I'd go to work at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. The papers, we'd fold the papers up, merge them, and then go do the route. And the route took like 3 hours, but I always had some fucking chick with me on the route or, you know, whatever. So until they'd fire me, and then I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? And then you start hustling. And it's always like you hear like a drug addict will never fucking get clean until they really hit rock bottom. And if you know anybody that has addiction like that, you'll hear them go, I'm ready to get clean. They're not ever ready to, like, until they have literally hit fucking rock bottom. And that's really the motivation for me is like, you are at, like, you're going to lose all your shit. And I won't, you could tell me in 90 days you're going to lose all your shit. And I won't start planning for all my shit to be lost and pull it out of my fucking pocket and rescue and save the day until 72 hours. Like, 72 hours. That's when we're going to, the solutions, we're going to keep operating normal, having a good time, doing good shit until 3 days before. And like, my shit's already going to be on fire. Like, we're not even going to start putting the fire out until it's like almost to the building. And then we're going to put the fire out, we're going to save the day, and we're going to fucking make an extra $1 million that month. Like, that's how I work. I'm really not a good dude probably to ask, but just make sure, I know this is not the answer that you guys were expecting or looking for, but just whatever you do, if you like doing it, it will be, and there's other guy, and it'll be easy to do. Like, I don't ever get up in the morning and go, fuck, I got to go to work. Never. Like, you can, Jeff will come in here on a Saturday or Sunday, and I will be here fucking working. It's fucking easy for me to work. I'll sleep at a fucking sewing machine. Like, it's just not a big deal. I work. And when dudes are like, you need to take a break or you need to do this, that's the worst fucking advice you could give somebody who is an entrepreneur or hoping to be an entrepreneur, because they're fighting with themselves a lot of times until it has become a habit. You're fighting in your head. It's just like dudes in NDOC. It's just like dudes in any special program. They're there. They fought to get there. They were the best to get there, but they're questioning the whole time in their head. And that's why most, like, you look at buds and stuff, that dude's there while you're fucking cold offering your food. All you gotta do is ring that bell.
That's it.
And that's what they're there for. So when you're telling that guy that, he might just be fucking, he might have that thought in his head, it's time to fucking go get a normal job. It's time to quit this. And usually, when they quit, they were fucking that fucking close to fucking making it over to the peak, to the next step, whatever that is. So you are not helping a man and telling him to take a vacation or you need to work less. You're not fucking helping him. And really, that's in your head. That's really, you're not helping him. You're making excuses for yourself when you do that shit. And I 100% believe that. Shannon, did we really go to the moon? If yes, why do so many people think we haven't? That's a whole fucking podcast.
God, that's a whole podcast itself. Well, yes, we really went to the moon. The Chinese have actually just landed on the dark side of the moon. NASA and China were in a race to get on the dark side of the moon.
How come there's no pictures?
There is pictures.
Is that why they keep bringing all the Transformer movies out?
Maybe, but there are pictures. The Chinese are publishing their pictures and stuff. A couple of the Japanese have actually taken pictures of our landing sites and shown where our vehicles are and all that stuff. But yes, we have been to the moon. The reason why it's so easy to do that is because when you have a government agency involved in anything, because they
lie about everything.
There's two things going on. There's a level of incompetency that you are not aware of, meaning you think You think, for example, I don't know, I'll say President Carter. You say Jimmy Carter is the best person to be president of the United States because he's qualified. Jimmy Carter is no more qualified to be president of the United States than any of us. There's no qualification.
That's pretty true. And if you look back, there's some super shady shit around most of them.
There's no qualification. I mean, outside of your age restrictions and things like that, there's no special qualification to be in the United States government. Obviously, that's going to be different for, say, the CIA or NSA, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to be a congressman, there's no special qualification. There are congressmen and women out there right now who are felons. There are congressmen and women out there right now that have never been to college. We just recently elected one who doesn't know a fucking thing about government. So you would be amazed at how much incompetence is actually going on up there. I mean, maybe you're not amazed. Look at how much fucking money. Look at how much money the government spends every year, and how little they get done. So it's a little bit of competence, and then the moon is a place where you can't go visit, right? You can't really go visit the moon. So how would you know if we went there or not? So it's easy to create these conspiracy theories. All you have to do is find a little sprinkle of something that may be true, and then make a nice video about how we didn't go to the moon. I mean, I will give you an example of things that you just can't understand, right? The first person to solo across Antarctica. Solo across Antarctica. Think about that. We've been around for a long time. The first person to solo across Antarctica just happened this week.
Well, what about along those lines? You have nothing's in Antarctica, nothing's there. Well, you have other people saying it's the end of the world, it's the wall, and then yet there's other people that are like, lizard people live in the middle, and then it's a tropical oasis. But what about...
It's always because you can't prove it.
Right, but what about Admiral Byrd coming out going, yes, there's all kinds of civilizations inside the Earth. Like, the greatest explorer, Shackleton and fucking Byrd, like, the true discoverers of everything we're fucking talking about 200 years later, 100 years later... They've made it illegal for us to do what those people did.
Well, it's not.
You can't go to Antarctica.
Yes, you can.
No, we cannot.
Yes, we can. We most certainly can. As a matter of fact...
You can go to the fucking little building.
No, as a matter of fact, like I said, they just had a race to cross the entire continent. So there were several individuals that were trying. I think the British came in number 2, but an American, by the way, won.
I got a great video about it.
Who made it all the way across.
I have a great video about it.
But we can actually go... Believe it or not, this just came out. I just heard this yesterday that they have a very hard time. Here's the issue: when people talk about why haven't they done this in Antarctica, it's the same reason why we haven't done this on the moon, because it's very expensive and it's very unhospitable. So, for example, there are currently 17 known research facilities.
They just found a giant pyramid
in Antarctica. 17 known research facilities. I believe only 4 are open year-round, because during the winter, you cannot leave the facility. That's how unhospitable it is. So therein lies your problem. It's very hard to get to. It's very hard to stay there. So, if Warren Buffett wanted to drive a dune buggy around Antarctica, he could probably afford it. But
if you want us to go to Antarctica,
yes, go fund us. I will definitely go. I was actually thinking they have a program. This is how unhospitable it is. You have those research stations, right? They cannot find volunteers. They cannot find enough volunteers to stay in those facilities. So there are doctors and shit, but remember, like I told you before, when you're thinking about what kind of job you want, just because you're a microbiologist studying sea fungus in Antarctica doesn't mean you know anything about toilets. Doesn't mean you know anything about how to cook food. Doesn't mean you know anything about how to run electricity. So they actually have an open source. You can open source volunteer to go stay in Antarctica in one of these research facilities to maintain it, cook it, do whatever they need you to do.
Along those lines, we heard a dude at the gym today talking about, speaking of jobs and choices and being an expert in your field or, whatever. A lot of that just comes down to choices. A lot of times, like when I have some dude giving me shit over something I did He's like, must be fucking nice. I'm like, it is nice. I fucking have worked 30 years to be able to do what I do. And he's like, well, I'm in the military. I fought for your freedom. And, well, those were choices. Like, you weren't conscripted into the military. Nobody made you go into the military at this point. And you didn't fight for my freedom at this point. You're fighting for whatever the fucking the puppet. Like, you've been brainwashed. But along those lines, we heard a dude at the gym telling another guy, he's like, yeah, you should get into dispatch. It sounded like truck driving or something. You should get into dispatching, That's a great job. So when you're older, you don't have to be physically doing labor, is basically what he said, and it makes good money. I don't know what a dispatcher makes, but I would imagine you probably cap out unless you buy some trucks or something. But why would that be your goal? Like, why would your goal be, I'm going to get out and I'm going to be a dispatch? Like, that's a always be looking for the better. Always fucking keep moving. Have some idea, have some fucking hobby that you're going to transition into a business. Those are choices. Those are choices. Like, you signed that box. Somebody told you that fucking story. That sounded good. It's the problem we have in the town here. We hire people. People don't want any more. Like, when we just had 2 ladies come in a couple weeks before Christmas and want a job. Why? Because they need to buy Christmas presents.
Yep.
And when they sat on the machine for about 15 minutes, they're like, oh, this isn't for me. You know what they did? They got up and left and didn't have a job and couldn't buy Christmas presents. People here don't want anything more than what they already have. They don't know there's a whole nother fucking world out there. It's like they don't know. They don't have cable television, so they don't see the commercials, and they don't have the fucking... It's just fucking bizarre. Make fucking better choices. Here's another one. What is one thing you have in prototype stage or concept form that you would like to finish and bring to market the most? I think they think I'm full of shit when I'm like, oh, we got bags full of shit that it's just waiting for the right time.
Every bag has already been created. It's out there. It's out. So there's a we just did 18, 24, and 30 inch. There's a 20. 22 and a 36 inch out there somewhere too. It's just whether or not John, it's really John, whether or not John thinks that the market will bear what it is that we're building. I mean,
or demand. Like we really like. I think that's why a lot of people. Yeah, we build tactical gear. We also build lifestyle stuff though. But I take stuff kind of and look at it and figure out how to feed it into. Most of the tactical gear companies out there at this point, and there's some stand-ups that are doing some really neat stuff, but most of them are stagnant. Like all your tip of the spear gear companies were building stuff for ninjas, and when all that fucking war on terror toned down, we had fucking big companies hitting us up going, hey, we'll contract so for you. Like, we saw fucking companies just fucking disappear and go out of business, and like, they didn't fucking hint, they didn't try to maneuver, they didn't try to market to a different industry. Like, they just were gone. Like, we didn't even know they were gone. We just assumed they were still a going concern, and they just fucking disappeared. But a lot of it is just, bringing it to market. I don't remember where I was fucking going with this.
Well, on that note, what John was saying is what a lot of people don't know is during the 2000s, obviously during this war on terror thing, there was a lot of
money just fucking
free money
out there.
Free money. So even the Marine Corps, who doesn't get, they don't get an extra 50 cents. Even the Marine Corps was getting free money. It was the war on terror, and we were going to throw whatever amount of money on that.
And every time end of year, like, we would have purchase agents go, I have $18,000 I have to spend.
Yeah.
What like, they were asking us, like, what should we buy? What do you have that we can... And they just run them, man. Batches, fucking $3,000, $5,000 at a time. Like, they would... Every year, people that we did a lot of business with are like, I have to spend this money or we don't get it allocated next year.
Yeah, the gun nylon business is it's actually a pretty tough business to be in. Even though you think that everybody's selling all their guns and everybody's selling all their ammo, it's kind of a tough business to be in because...
It's like the gas station doesn't make money selling gas.
Yeah, they don't make money selling gas. So because all the money was flowing in because of the war, and all the money was flowing into these specific industries, nylon companies, gun companies, blah, 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 investors So, like when you hear California going, oh, we're going to get out of the gun business because all our 401ks are invested in gun businesses. The investors started buying up all these corporations. So they started buying up all these gun companies. So like when you say Bushmaster is evil because their gun was found here or whatever, Bushmaster's owned by a parent company that owns everybody. So Bushmaster, Remington, they're owned by the same people.
Eagle and Blackhawk, your two biggest fucking opposite factions, owned by the same company.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happened in the gear industry, is they started gobbling up a lot of nylon companies. The problem is in the nylon world, unless you're getting a government contract, you kind of have to stay alive. You have to be able to see what the needs of the public is, right? Because that's how you're going to keep the fucking lights turned on. Because the government, even when you get a government contract, they're short selling that shit. But so when these companies like Eagle and Blackhawk, and they all got bought by these big companies, they brought project managers down and said, oh, we're going to stop doing this, we're going to stop doing that. You don't need to be over there anymore. This is what company, and that's why those companies have kind of disappeared. Like the people who were running Eagle, and you know who they are if you know who they are. They're making nylon gear right now that is probably selling better than the original Eagle stuff. Because that corporation bought up all that bullshit and started putting money people into places where you actually need technical people. Like they got rid of all their military advisors, all that bullshit, and so they're not, you don't see them as much. So I don't know where we were going with that, but
so for you guys that know, some of you know, some of you don't know. John Carver owned Eagle. Mike Knoll owned Blackhawk. They were both bought by ATK. Mike Knoll was hired on as a consultant to go back into Blackhawk. I don't know currently where he is. John Carver had a no-compete, so he couldn't go into nylon. His son did not have a no-compete and started a company called First Spear. So with the knowledge, and John, like I remember John years and years ago telling me he had sent his son to learn CAD CAM, and so they could run all those fucking cutting machines and those programming machines and the lasers and all that shit. So when he stood up First Spear, they went to Idaho, had manufacturing, fucking everywhere we go, there's manufacturing problems. It comes down to human problems. So John starts making some little things here and there that are not military gun related stuff. So John now owns a company called 46 Atlas out of Fenton, Missouri, where Eagle used to be, and he's making nylon gear. He's having people problems. I reached out to him and said, man, what's your capacity? He's like, we are at capacity. We cannot find sewers. If you look at the product, there's problems with the product. It's neat. He is the best in what he is doing right now.
Yeah.
It is nothing like what we sew. Like we have seconds that we can't even tell why they're seconds when we pick them up a couple days later. The product they're putting out, that most of these companies right now are putting out, would never fucking go through our door. Like, we would go out of business if they were sewing for us that could never fucking have our label on it. Would never fucking go. But he's in a niche market, in an industry, and they're growing. I just saw, I'm seeing all these paid ads right now somewhere in Missouri. They're setting up these little, like, just-in-time manufacturing things. So what they were basically saying in the ad was, we've gone into this low-income area. We've got this old-ass building, neat, brick. And they've just set up 8 sewing machines, and we set up teams. So we have cells that do only one product. So because what he's saying is, these motherfuckers, we cannot fucking get it through their heads to build multiple products. So we're just going to train them on one thing, and they're only going to build one thing. And that's what's happening. So he's having the same problems everybody else is fucking having, and it comes down to people don't want to work.
You have an industry. You have a
dying industry.
You have an industry that has killed all that. Believe it or not, some people will say, "Oh, it's NAFTA. They moved all the jobs." It's actually the college industry that has killed all that, because
it was not.
So in my day, when I went to school,
we had workshops.
You had to go to. You had wood, metal. I even had a fiberglass class I took.
Screening, printing, printed circuit boards. We had all that shit.
But you had home ec. And one of the things about home ec is you had to use a sewing machine in home ec. So you had to use a sewing machine in home ec. And if you think about all your older generations, your grandparents and all that, everybody knew how to basic sew. Everybody knew how to sew. They knew how to run a sewing machine. But when you get rid of all those classes, in the high school, at the high school level, or even at the, I think my elementary, no, we didn't have home ec. Maybe we did. But when you get rid of those type of classes, and you just tell everybody, hey, go to college, go to college, go to college, go to college, then what you've done is you've bred a whole generation that doesn't know how to fucking do anything for themselves.
Two and three generations.
Yeah, that don't know how to do anything for themselves, and have hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt that, you know, a lot of them aren't going to be able to pay back. That's going
to be your collapse. Yeah. That's going to be it.
Well, the good news is the generation right now, apparently the generation that's growing up right now, are going to trade schools.
Because of nostalgia.
They're doing that. They're doing that getting the jobs that are actually going to pay money, not the fucking lesbian dance teachers and shit.
So back to the original question. What do we have out there that we would most like to bring to market? Not me saying it. What do you think it is?
A 50 caliber smooth bore rifle that shoots a sabot round, just like the M1 Abrams.
No. Oh, that we manufacture.
Oh, the we manufacture.
We don't manufacture.
Yeah, we don't manufacture. We can't fuck with any gun stuff. But Elon, if you heard that, give me a call. What do we manufacture?
See, we have bags full of shit.
You know what I would like to see, which is totally useless. It is totally useless to me now. But I just think about when I was in Iraq, and it's the perfect bag. But that original war bag with the fucking magazine pouches on the outside, the original...
Ours?
Yeah.
I have a new one. He's talking about the Mookie war bag. Everybody made one. Ours was a little bit different. Fucking Diamondback Tactical, Blackhawk, everybody made. Looked like a computer case. Had some mags on the front. I never liked it. I never liked theirs. We made ours so that the handle ripped off. The cover ripped off so you could work out of it for real. It had a map, pocket in the lid and shit. I never liked it. And here's why I didn't like it. For the same reason, we have some products right now that I don't fucking like. Because it had a shoulder strap. It didn't have a handle. So if I put a handle on it, the handle had to go on the lid. And it always just it separated. It wasn't tight. I have a new one. We prototyped it when I was in the other fucking building. It has a handle. It also has a lid with a slot in it. And the handle comes through the lid. When you can take the lid on or off. If the lid's on, you can still use the handle. The mag pouches, you can run them Velcro retention. You can run them lids. Or you can run them bungees. It has all three abilities. The shoulder strap actually comes off and is a functioning Cobra buckle for emergency rappel if you actually had to use it for real. Because in theory, these bags are E&E bags. They are the Jack Bauer, we're fighting out of these bags kind of thing. But what I was saying, that if we took all the cool shit in the building, just downstairs, that we don't sell, but we could fill a whole fucking room.
Yeah.
Whatever your bedrooms in your house are, imagine filling it with bricks, with gear, the whole building. You couldn't even step in the room without taking shit out of the room. Not just on the floor. Top, floor to ceiling, corner to corner. We have that much shit we have made that has not come to market. An example of that is in Oceanside. We made a little leg subload. It was a little tiny leg subload. We used to make a lot of subloads, guys. We had one that was a flashbang in the middle and 2 M4 mags on the side. So it carried 2 M4 mags, a flashbang or a smoke, and 2 more M4 mags. Well, we got M4 mags. We might as well put pistols on there. So now you got 2 pistols on your leg. And we always marketed it as, you're not going to necessarily put all that shit in there. Any place on the leg, or anywhere for that matter, a lot of you guys don't know maybe, if you can put 2 M4 mags there, you can put a full-size smoke there. And if you can put 3 M4 mags, Pelican makes a box that fits there perfectly. So the snipers, every one of them got one of these things. And it was 3 mags, pistol mag, pistol mag. And they were carrying 3 mags, but they were carrying an E&E or a little sear kit in a Pelican box here. And it wasn't necessarily pistol mags. It was a multi-tool, a Surefire light, extra 550 cord, a monocular. Everything had multiple uses, and everything could be tethered. So if you pulled something out, you wouldn't lose any of that shit. Anyways, back to we made this little modular subload back in the day when PAL shit first came out, Molly first came out. So before I went to prison, so like 2002, 2003-ish, we didn't sell them. Guys came in, everybody asked about them, everybody wanted them, put all their bullshit on there. They didn't fucking sell. Not until Chris Costa had somebody build his thing, and then HSGI was building it. That's when we brought it back out, and we sold fucking hundreds of them right out the gate. Especially when Chris couldn't deliver his shit, or HSGI couldn't deliver Chris's shit, I think is more the case. The market just wasn't ready. We didn't build that fucking thing. We had that thing sitting here ready to go. Like, I moved here from San Diego with that bullshit, and it sat in a bag collecting dust out in the fucking dirt floor garage that we at the old shop. The upper shop was probably like 2,500 feet, maybe, all 3 rooms
square feet, yeah,
combined. We doubled it by we put a lean-to and a shed on the back that still had a dirt floor. We had so much stuff. We were putting shit in waterproof containers and setting it out there just because we didn't have enough room at the other building. So we have tons. That's why we don't sign. Like, guys are always like, I got this awesome idea. It's going to be millions of dollars. I only want 2% of it, but I want you to sign a non-compete. We're like, we're not fucking signing a non-compete. Literally, we have stood our ground for fucking 25 years since we were in the Oceanside shop for 25 years. When dudes are like, non-compete, we're like, we're not signing a non-compete. And they'd always cave, and they're like, okay, this is the idea. And I or Jeff would walk in the back and grab fucking 20 bags and bring them forward and dump them out and start looking for it. And sure as shit, 99% of the time, a dude's like, I need you to sign a non-compete. This has never been done. And we had it already made, fucking turnkey, ready to go. The market just wasn't there for it.
Yeah.
So the answer right now, DeGain, I don't know.
Don't let John fool you. Back in the Oceanside shop days, he was like, fuck that Molly. Nobody's ever going to keep using Molly. That Molly it's fading. It's fading. Nobody's using Molly.
True. And before it was ever called Molly, there was a company, ICS, Combat Systems. The SEALs.
I'll bet they were pissed,
man. The SEALs had bags of shit they gave us. Like, they had that shit back as early as, like, dude, probably early 90s, maybe mid 90s. And it was Molly. It just didn't have the fucking snap. They had one, I'm sure somebody makes it now. They call it soft loops and all different kinds of attachment systems, so you didn't have to pay royalty to Natick or whoever it was. If we came out with our pouches, you could use the horizontal pieces. But if you had that stupid fucking piece of webbing with the plastic and the snap, you were supposed to be paying a royalty for every single piece of gear you put out. So guys came out, Coffee Logan's like, fuck that. We're going to Malice clips. That's how that came to be.
Yeah.
So, but back as early as the 90s, mid 90s, if not beginning of the 90s, that company had a piece that was 2 pieces of webbing sewn over, and it looped through and actually went through like this ring they had made out of webbing. You see companies doing it now. Idema Combat Systems, Keith Idema, I remember reading shit about him as a kid. He was supposed to have been an SF guy, a fucking Delta before it was called CAG. You know, he went over as a contractor in Iraq when Iraq first kicked off. Running and gunning, said he was running CIA operations. Some shit went down, and they actually imprisoned him in Iraq. But he was basically sequestered. He had a village. He literally had a village, and the government came out and disowned him. But there was, like, I remember Soldier Systems doing a whole article on this dude. And the government is like, no, he was never an SF dude. And they're like, well, what about these news conferences where he was sitting and he's highly decorated and you guys were saying what a great SF agent operator he was? And the government's like, he was never in the military. Well, what about this fucking CNN article? What about this clipping? What about this maggot? Like, it was just the craziest shit. All right, here's another one. Damn. Zane, I don't know fuck about Elvis. He's like, what piece of gear do you have that Elvis would think is the coolest? Probably some of the skydive shit we were fucking with years ago, and I only say that because I recently learned that there's a jumbo jet and a big private jet at Elvis's property. There's no runway. The jets are just there. And it's a no-fly zone. If you try to fly your drones there, your drone will not actually function properly the closer you get to the the estate.
Anything that John has done in leather, Elvis would like, and anything he's done in the crazy colors. Elvis liked a lot of crazy colors.
I think Elvis would like that cash print shit.
Yeah, oh yeah, Elvis would definitely rock some cash print.
I found a company that makes custom smoking jackets and slippers and shit. I want a Hugh Hefner smoking jacket, but I want to build like a velvet rig. It's funny, like I see dudes building this shit. We've built all this shit.
Yeah.
I just saw a dude made a vest out of fur. I'm like, we've done all that shit. It's cool they're doing it, and if I jump out and do it, they're gonna be like, you copied me. I got a fucking box of buckskin. We're gonna do Davy Crockett rigs, Davy Crockett's. I've got 20. Like, for you guys that don't know, like you go to a fucking Southwest furniture store or a really nice furniture store, they have those cowhides on the rug, the skin on, the hair on cowhides. Those fucking things are like $500 in the store when you buy them. They're nice, right? Sedona kind of shit. I've got 20 of them rolled up out there, like nice ones. Like I hand picked them out. Some of them are dyed like. I have one like you would swear to God to like that motherfucker killed a giraffe. Like I got one that's cheetah. I got one that's giraffe. I've got some really nice fucking cow ones. We might fuck with that eventually. We're just busy, man. This is a whole nother one in itself. We'll just really quick touch on it. Was 9/11 an inside job?
No. Why
was it? And then another Shannon's like, and why wasn't it if it's not?
Well, once again, we'll go back to government incompetency.
Hold on, I got a super pee.
Go pee. We'll go back to government incompetency. The government is too incompetent. And the other thing is what most people don't take into consideration is when you think about like the guys that are like, the World Trade Center, the only way that came down was with explosives, and it couldn't have come down any other way. Here's the problem. The problem is it's what you don't think about. What you don't think about is minions. So, you know when Austin Powers, he's on the submarine, and he's interrogating whoever, and you see those guys in the back turning valves and shit? Those guys? That's how the submarine actually gets in the water. Dr. Evil doesn't do anything with the submarine. It's all those minions that turn those valves and shit. It takes, if you know anybody who does demolition, first off, it takes a shit ton of explosives, and it also takes a shit ton of removal. So when they actually take a building down for real, when they're doing it, they're in that motherfucker with bobcats tearing out support structures. They're actually doing serious work. We don't have some ninja explosive, contrary to what you believe, that does that, except, I don't know, maybe a nuclear weapon would do it. But we always forget about the minions. And in that kind of scenario, I know a lot of the minions. I know a lot of the guys. Like if you said, hey, we want you to go to fucking Saudi Arabia and blow up the biggest building in the world.
We're gonna steal the Eiffel Tower.
We're gonna steal the Eiffel Tower. I know the guys. I know a lot of the guys that would have gone to do that. You're not gonna find anybody in those groups. They are all meat eaters. They are all red, white, and blue. You're not gonna find anyone that you could have convinced to go, hey, here's the big plan. We want to start a war in the Middle East. We need you to blow this building up. That's not what happened. What happened was exactly what was foretold. The individual who blew up the World Trade Center the first time, remember this is the second time the World Trade Center has been blown up, he said, guess what? We're coming back, and next time it's going to work. And they got lucky. Truth be told, they got lucky. They got lucky because of government incompetence. Yes, you have all these agencies that were like, you go, oh, but the fucking, who are the guys at the border?
Border Patrol?
Not Border Patrol, INS, ICE. You got a lot of people going, oh, they knew these terrorists came in through Canada. And then other people were like, oh, the FBI knew that these guys were training to fly planes. None of those agencies at that time, and I'll bet it's still the same way, even though they're telling you different, none of those agencies talk to each other. And if, let's just say the Border Patrol, let's say whoever's in charge of the Border Patrol had gone up to the FBI and said, hey, these guys just snuck into the United States from Canada using fake passports. We should do an investigation. The FBI would immediately be like, yeah, you just need to go back to your checkpoint. Just go back up there. We got it handled. and then they would do nothing. Because realistically, at that point in time in our history, there wouldn't have been anything for them to do. They didn't have the power to do anything. All they would do was follow these guys around. So just like they did down in Florida, they followed those guys around. I wonder what these guys are up to. What are they going to do today? What are they going to do tomorrow? It's just bureaucratic government incompetency. That is why the World Trade Center came down. Now, they formed. They put all these groups under Homeland Security, but all those groups still have a figurehead, and none of them still talk to each other. So technically, tomorrow, with a decent plan, they could do the fucking same thing again and probably get away with it because of the government bureaucratic incompetency. And I'm not talking about the guy at the border checkpoint. Well, there's some there, and I'm not talking about ICE agents. I'm talking about at the levels where decisions get made. At the levels where decisions get made, they are fucking idiots. They are idiots. You can't. So I have friends that are basically in every level of that right now, and you would not believe the fucking stories that they tell about the incompetence at those levels. Just the utter sheer incompetence. Now, the government can't come out tomorrow and go, guess what? You just spent trillions and trillions of dollars on satellites and tanks and fucking troops, and we fucked up. We just don't know what we're doing. They have to convince you that they know what they're doing. And the best way to do that is just allow all these conspiracy things to keep going. It would not surprise me one bit if the CIA was actually behind a lot of them to keep everybody going, oh, this is what happened, this is what happened. Because if they came out and said, hey, we were just dumb. We were looking over here when this was happening, you would want to fire them, right? Or you would want to elect other people.
Not only that, if they come out and go, we fucked up, your enemy is now in a fucking position of strength.
Yeah.
And you're in a position of weakness. It's just like you can come out and go, I fucked up. You can't do it all the time. You can't fuck up all the time. You can come out and own it, tell the truth. People are going to rally around you, right on. But if you keep doing that, people are just going to stop. It's just like asking for money. Like, if you fucking truly are at the fucking bottom, you're going to lose shit. You can ask for money. You better have lost a bunch of shit, though. You better have fucking got rid of a bunch of your shit if you're out asking for money. People will fucking rally around once. Some people will rally around twice. Dumb motherfuckers will rally around 3 times. You only get that. You get one of those. You only get one before people catch on, and it's important enough for you to ask for money, but it's not important enough for you to sell your shit. Then it wasn't fucking important enough, and that's the thing. They can't come out and go, "Oh, we fucked up, man. We were moving in the wrong direction." Because Russia's going to stomp all over you, or fucking China's going to stomp all over, or whoever the fuck it is. I mean, we see competitors do shit all the time, and you have to look at politics as well as along the terms of business, man. I do shit a lot of times. I'll see guys going, "We did this," or we ship 100, and it's always we. I'm like, who the fuck is we, motherfucker? I know you're in your mom's basement, like legitimately in your mom's basement. I know your mom. Like, if I wasn't married, I'd be banging your mom. So, I'm like, who the fuck is we? And then, like, we ship 400, orders. We ship 200. That's why we show pictures of shit. That's why I walk around here every night. And when a guy asks a question and I go, yeah, we have those cut, I literally walk over and show them. Because when I see dudes, I'm working tonight, I'm doing this. No, you're not, motherfucker. Because if you were, you'd be proud of it and there'd be fucking photographic evidence. A picture tells 1,000 words. It's why when we have some product we want to fucking really promote, or we got some new cool thing coming out, we accidentally put it in a photo. We accidentally show it to you. People ask about it. We ignore you and don't even acknowledge it. Finally, we're like, yeah, we built some of those for some people. Usually we don't bring them to market. But if I really want to bring it to market, we just accidentally show it to you guys. And then we fucking tell a few people, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm only showing you this. Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody.
Because we know they're going to fucking tell everybody.
Tell everybody.
That was Clint at Apollo Depot. When we wanted something out to the Marines, we would go down. We would literally drive 2-3 blocks down from our shop to the surplus store, and I would show Clint. And I'd be like, hey, bro, You and me, we're like this. I'm on top, you're on the bottom, but we're still like this, bro. Check this out. Don't tell anybody. And fucking within 2 hours, dudes would be in here in the shop asking for it. Meanwhile, we're building them. You can't fucking show weakness. It's okay to come out. I'm just equating this to personal life, personal business. Let's go to the next one. This is really going long. We've got a bunch more, and we've only touched the first page. How do you tell this rather than me influencing it? How do you decide when to run each product or color? Like
each product color.
No holds barred. Like honest, tell them the truth.
Tell them the truth?
Yeah. Like whatever your perception of the truth is.
My perception of the truth is it depends on the
my answers we don't know.
No, I say it depends on the volume. It depends on the volume of the order and where we're at in production. So an example would be like, let's say we're running kit bags or super kit bags. Let's say we're running super kit bags, and you order now. And this is things that are not online already, because if it's online and it's in the green to order, then you can order it. But let's say you order a Mookie War Light in purple with red thread.
We have every Mookie War Light right now that we have in every option, in every color on the shelf ready to go.
So, but let's say you order that. Unfortunately, that is going to go to the bottom of the pile, because I can fill 30 orders for multicam, or I can fill 30 orders of kit bags. And let's say we're doing super kit bags, and then I have a pile of different colored kit bags. Not that they're relatively close. I probably should have said tool bag and large tool bag. But either way, it's going to be easier for the sewers to transition. It's going to be easier for the sewers to transition from that bag to the next bag than to go to, say, a Mookie War Light, because the minute I take them off of that common thing that they're doing and give them something that it's a little more complicated, it's a little more different, the minute you do that, fucking production goes, it slows down.
Because for every 10, you've got one peak performer. I could literally, if we could turn the website off, fill every order we have, fire half of our staff, and keep, like, I moved here to work with 3 people, legitimate. I was going to run a shop with 4 sewers, me and 3. We could fire everybody, keep 3 employees, and we would make more money. Like, we would literally be more profitable. I know, I see you going like, no fucking way. Hear me out. Because with 3 peak performers, we can build more expensive stuff, lower quantity, fulfill the need faster, and we don't have payroll. We don't have payroll taxes. We don't have any of the other shit that goes with sustaining all those people.
Yeah, once you start paying employees legitimately,
so
it becomes a hassle.
So with that, I'm gonna throw some shit in. I'm sure as a business owner, I'm sure a lot of businesses are like this. I tell you shit that no other business will tell you. I tell you shit that no other business owner will tell you. And this is kind of on the heels of.
Hey, the other thing too, just remember, because we're talking about how we pick things. You also have to remember that there are fucking, just in mag pouches, probably 200 SKUs,
That's
like 200 variables,
just in rifle,
mag pouches. So when when you're talking about how do you pick, 9 times out of 10, the orders with the highest number, the order, whatever it is, the orders with the highest number are going to go. Because of commonality, we usually work through that. We usually work through all those pieces. But sometimes I can't finish going through all the rifle mags because we really have this fucking order that, fucking Marsoc ordered 32 fucking helmet lights or something stupid. And then we have to fill that faster. So what happens is it bounces around a lot, but...
Okay, Jeff touched on it a little bit. I'm going to add in. Everybody's a cool guy. No matter how cool you are, there are always guys that are cooler than you are. And that comes down to .socom, .mil, .US Navy, .socom, fucking whatever that fucking dot at the end. There's a cool guy club, you're not fucking in it. And the coolest fucking dudes, the coolest of them are so cool, they don't even have one of those fucking email addresses.
They don't have a dot, nothing.
So we'll just get an order all of a sudden through a fucking. We'll get a contact. Hey, we're gonna place an order. We'll get an order come through the fucking website for 400 of something. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Who the fuck is it? And Jeff will Google that shit. He's like, yeah, we need to build that shit up. Like, you can usually, if you get an order, well, you guys wouldn't be getting orders like that, but if you get the order like that, you Google that address and then you take the little bit more information, put it back in Google, and you're like, oh, that's some Marsoc dudes, or that's some fucking whoever it is. Yeah. So they get priority. A lot of times you won't even fucking hear the order, or you'll just see some shit and you're like, why the fuck did they build fucking that many of those? And we don't even have any for sale.
When your address is a defunct ice cream shop, man,
yeah,
come on, guys, you should come up with something better than
or
that.
A closed down military base. Those are good too. There's a lot of those.
Closed down military base or a fucking used car lot, man. Yeah.
So they and then there's this other thing, and this holds true everywhere. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, and if you're cool, you get a lot more performance than if you send an email, and if you even remotely sound fucking dick or asshole, like I factually answer you back with a little bit of asshole back in it, and if you escalate, like, we're fucking done dealing. Like,
yeah,
I literally, like, bottom of the list. But usually a dude, hey, like, we just had one, and we fucked up, which ultimately I fucked up. We have built kit bags. Today, as a matter of fact, like, yesterday, dude's like, hey man, what's up with my order? I still don't have it. That's what he said. And I pull his it's a 5-digit order number, and we're at over 400,000 right now, or something fucking crazy. So his order was like 5,200 or something. I'm like, what the fuck is this going to be? It's going to be a no ETA. And I pull it up, and lo and behold, it is not a no ETA. It is a multicam kit bag. I'm like, what the fuck? We've built these 100 times since this dude has ordered this, and it was a Typhon checkbook cover, which I personally sewed. And I just replied to him. I said, this order we'll build this. This will either ship Friday, because he asked yesterday. This will either ship Friday or early next week, because I wasn't sure where we were. Well, we walked back. We already had kit bags cut. They were on the shelf in line to go. I just threw his order in, put it on Dora's table. Dora comes in this morning, like, these are on my table. I assume there's some urgency. I'm like, run them all. We need them. So they built those fucking things today. The reality of it is that order number happened in the other building. I fucking shouldn't even say this because we're going to have 800 assholes fucking email. Where's my order? We lost that fucking order somehow. Like, it didn't transition. We had a lot of silly shit going on in the other building. Not your guys' problems. We didn't have the order. Fucking it, because we've built. If I'd asked Jeff how many open orders we have, he's like, they're all cut. Everything's fucking 90 days or less sitting back there. So we built it, and I sent him an email. I'm like, hey, your order's shipping today. Sorry for the delay. We're gonna give you a $20 gift card. And just heads up, 80% of our orders right now are shipping same or next day. The hopes is, and also let me say, in looking at his orders. In the last 2 years, he has placed no orders. That's another factor. If a dude emails me and goes, hey, what's up with my shit? I always look at your orders. If you're inquiring about an order that was your last order, chances are we lost you as a customer. We're sorry that happened. We're sorry to have lost you, but chances are if you have an old open order and you haven't placed any more orders, chances are you're not going to. Like, we fucked up. You're already disgruntled. We've already lost you. We're going to invest our time in other guys. We're going to build your shit.
Yeah, not to say your shit's not going to get built.
Yeah, we built this dude's shit as a sorry. We bribed him. That's really what it is. I gave you $20 that you can't fucking do shit with unless you buy more shit from us. So I gave you $20. Hopefully he spends that $20 with us, comes back and sees that our performance is improved, our quality's still there, everything's good. We just, we had a lot of orders. They were no ETA orders. That was a no ETA order when he placed it, but we have built them
since, yeah.
And if he knows anything about our social media, we show photos of all the shit we're building all the time. The pictures you see of what we're building are probably about 30% of what we build on a daily basis. So with that said, if another dude's like, hey man, where's my order? Where's my wazoo dazu? I look his shit up, which happened yesterday. Another one of these dudes, where's my shit? And he didn't say it like that. He was very fucking polite. I pull his shit up, And Jeff's like, man, I don't know. Fucking, we haven't run those in a while. We don't have any plans to run those. This is going to be a while. I pull his order up. He had 250 fucking orders. We're like,
we're making it now.
Sorry for your delay. So if you're a good customer, or you're a high performance customer, and that's the other thing with what gets built. And which is why we're talking about this, I think. What gets built and how do we build it? We have customers who have spent $10,000. We have customers who have literally spent $20,000. We have a few customers who have spent over $100,000 with us. When they ask for something, we build it. The more money you spend, the more shit and that doesn't mean you can call up and be an asshole, because we've got dudes that have spent fucking $10,000 and literally like, I've spent $10,000 with you. You should fucking do this. This is bullshit. I'm like, fucking go build. You better go buy a fucking sewing machine with your next $10,000. Then fucking build a building and fucking do some shit.
And one of those guys still buys stuff.
Yeah, he actually made another account after we can't. He like went fucking crazy.
Every time I see his order, I'm like, I can't.
There's 2 or 3 of them dudes, and I'm like, motherfucker, I will fucking kill rats and pigeons and live under a bridge homeless before you're gonna dictate. Like, yes, you've given me that much money. I'd rather be homeless than have that much money from you again. Fuck you. We're done doing business. Most of those dudes, I don't know if they just had a bad day that day or what, but most of those dudes who have spent that kind of money with us and we've had any kind of words continue to do business.
Yeah, we'll come back.
But don't invest all your time. Like, 10% of your customers take 80% of your time. While you're trying to service that customer who, and you're rewarding that dude, that's a stray dog. You're rewarding that dude, you're rewarding that behavior, and he's going to do it to you again. And while you're doing that, you get a couple things when he's a dick and you fire one of those dudes. It makes you happy. You get like an endorphin spike, literally. It was like you just fucking drank a Jolt Cola or some shit. We laugh about it. We have a conversation about it. We tell you guys about it, which every company has these dudes. We just fucking tell you. All these holier than thou. I can't believe he blasted a customer. Motherfucker, you're doing it too.
You're just not doing it public.
You're just scared to fucking say something about it. So another thing happens when that happens. When I fire that guy, he still wants that belt or whatever it was. He now goes to our competitors and does that shit to them. And while they're busy sucking his dick because they don't have any business and they have to fucking maintain that customer, while they're busy fucking trying to appease this dude,
we're making shit for
shit for the 10 customers they didn't get because they were busy with that dude. Man, I had some good shit to say. I just fucking so many different directions. How do you decide to run what color? So the color thing. So when we run it, so you guys know, a lot of times when you see us running weird colors, it's because a dude ordered something we had. Like he ordered a multicam black something. Let's say a multicam black day pack, right? Well, we don't have a multicam black day pack with fucking orange thread, but this dude ordered it, the normal one, and then put in notes, hey, if there's any way you can do this with orange thread, I'd really appreciate it. Let me know how much more I owe you for the orange thread. And if it's something we choose to do, I'll go, hey, run this. Like orange thread, I would run 3 extras. We couldn't sell them for shit. If it was fucking red thread and we didn't offer it, I'd say run 24 extras. We'll sell them the same day. And that's how that stuff happens. And really, it just comes down to who you are. It comes down to what kind of relationship business-wise you and I have, what your order history is. If I look at your orders and you've got 100 orders, 100 orders doesn't mean shit if they're fucking $25 orders. But if you have 100 orders that are fucking an average order of $75 to $200, that fucking speaks. You know, we're going to do that because you're a fucking good customer. You're a preferred fucking customer. And that's really what it comes down to.
And you never know what the thing is, we never know what crazy color. I mean, there are some colors that you can just like, just run multicam black with red thread. There are some colors you can do that, but there are some things that are like, so a customer, we just had this happen recently. Customer ordered a purple toiletry bag and was like,
preferred customer.
John's like, do 6 extras. And
just like we should build 2 extras of these, I'm like, let's do 6 and see what happens.
We have been selling those motherfuckers like hotcakes. Every time, like, no shit, every time we finish some, I will walk back and give it to my guy that does all the cutting. I'm like, here. And he's like, no, I just did those. Dora's got them. I said, Dora has already given them to me, and they are fucking gone. There's
so
sometimes
much.
weird shit happens.
It's just because it is that weird. And it happens, and we were selling so many of them, we actually just pushed the button on the website so you can order them whether we have them or not, because we literally are building them every day. Here's why that happened. Because it was a perfect storm. It timed right. Dudes wanted to buy something for their chicks.
Yeah.
They made it okay for them to buy it. This will go on a whole nother direction here. It was Christmas time. It was the holidays. They wanted to buy something. They were already paying shipping. They tacked on a little extra so they could give it to their wife from Santa or from them. Those bags, somebody was saying they hold 1,000 rounds of 9mm.
Probably, yeah. I
They're toiletry bags. Guys call them DOP kits, toiletry bags. They're great for cables. You can put a small set of jumper cables. They're great for carrying tools. You know what else they're great for? They're great for fucking makeup bags. They're great for putting your socks and underwear and organizing all the shit inside your other bags. They're just small bags inside of bags inside of bags. And when I started hashtagging toiletry bag, makeup artists, I started tagging other places and using these hashtags, and we just got inundated. And just like the same thing holds true right now with the Tiffany toiletry bags. We're building a fucking ton of Tiffany toiletry bags, grocery bags, aprons, because I'm tagging gym bag, I'm tagging grocery bag. I'm using hashtags, and we're putting it out there to markets that other guys talk shit about us. Yeah, you just make stuff for fucking housewives at the commissary. You're goddamn right I do, because their money spends the same as ours does. We want every customer. When the war started contracting, I started, like, when we moved in the building, the war was fucking toning down.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, we have to market other places. Like, we stopped chasing. We didn't do any, like, we haven't done government contracts. Like, if we have to bid for a government contract, we don't even submit a bid. We just ignore you. We do government stuff in a manner that it comes through prime vendor, but the dude asking for the product puts SOE in the part name. It is a sole source. If they ask for gas mask covers, they don't ask for an M50 gas mask cover. They ask for an SOE side open subload gas mask. They use the exact part number. It has to come through us. So then we get a bid, we get a request from bid for 3 prime vendors. We get that contract no matter which fucking company it comes from.
Yeah.
Like, those are the contracts we do. They want our shit specifically so badly that they write them in that manner, and it takes them a little bit extra, footwork to make that shit happen. That's how that shit happens. Why was I talking about that? So that the business was slowing down. We still, get the fucking government contract in that manner. Small special unit. Camp Pendleton, we did 1,200 fucking gas mask covers for 1st and 4th Mardiv or whatever. We don't chase that shit. So with that contracting, that's when you saw us start doing stuff in other colors. And a lot of those little shit talkers, a lot of those fucking companies are literally out of business right now. They were out there on Facebook talking shit about us. How we were doing stuff in cash print and doing stuff in Tiffany and Red Thread and all that shit. Where are you at now, motherfucker? Because you're fucking... Who you working for? Because you don't have your company anymore. And that's another thing along the lines of, like, if we throw color thread in it. Like, when I walked into an Oakley store 15 years ago, we knew dudes that worked at Oakley. We got to see some cool, laboratory shit and stuff. And when we would walk in there, they'd have cool camo patterns, but they weren't military. And I said back then, I'm like, we need to brand and market like this. We need to put metal hardware. We need fucking big, bold branding. We need camo patterns that look fucking cool, but don't look necessarily 100% military. When they came out with the Typhons and the multicam black and shit, it really hit that niche. And when we started throwing colors in it, man, we went from selling, if we were selling 100 pieces, we're now selling 1,000 of each color because there was more options. And most companies, especially dudes talking shit about those colors, you know why they're not doing them? Because they're not doing shit now. They wish they had the business. You know why they're not doing them? Because they can't sew. Most of the dudes running companies, like legit companies, they can't duplicate. They can't get out there and tell their people how to do it, much less demonstrate it. And the product they're putting out that you see on their targeted ads or you see in magazines up close when you see a belt review, their stitching's completely fucked up. Just think, they knew that was going to print. That was the best they had to offer. They can't, like, when we sew color stuff, it literally takes 3 times longer to sew colored stuff. And they're doing black on black. So they can have fucked up stitching or mis-stitching or mis-skip corners or untensioned thread because it doesn't jump out. You can't see it unless you really look for it. You put fucking gray thread on black or red thread on black, It's like a fucking beacon under a microscope. That's why you don't see dudes doing it. And when you do see it, pay attention. I saw guys, we had a thread on a group the other day about what belt to buy. And literally 200 dudes are like, buy SOE. And a couple other guys are throwing out some belt companies. And I'm reading this. I've been tagged in this. I didn't see, there's a couple belt companies in there I'd never heard of. So I clicked the link, because they they just fucking tagged the company. I click on it. Lo and behold, they're building a belt just like our belt. But it looks like fucking ass. They have no idea why they're sewing things. It's a guy got a sewing machine or his wife has a sewing machine and they're building some stuff. Is it a belt? Sure, it's a belt. They don't know why they're doing it, though. When we run from the end up to the buckle and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back around. These dudes are literally going boom, boom, boom. There's no backup, much less 5 lines of stitching. And then why do we back it up with another 5 lines of stitching? In case that first line fails somehow. And it's always going to be, inflicted, or it's going to be some, it got cut some, just because. And have we ever had to repair one? Not a fucking time have we ever had to repair gear or a zipper failure or a buckle came off. We've never had to repair it unless it was involved a tailgate, a car door, bullet holes, fire, boat prop, or drug behind a vehicle. Never. We've never, our shit doesn't come in. If we're repairing it, it's got some whoever was wearing it has bigger problems than that rig. All right, we got some more. Let's turn this over to her so she can rip this and put this up as a podcast today, and then we'll throw it up maybe Monday or have her throw it up Saturday. Well, it's her birthday, so not Saturday.
It's her birthday.
It is Gabrielle.
Gabrielle's birthday?
White Girl Gang.
Yeah, the floss expert.
Yep, it's her birthday.
You should call her.
What is she, 49, 50 today? She's older than we are.
Yeah, she's definitely older than we are. You see the way she flosses?
She looks good for...
No, she looks good, but I mean...
She looks good for 55.
There's definitely some, some joint damage probably.
Shit, does Josh get fucking to go to the senior discount movies now? The matinee for free?
I bet he does.
Gabby does?
Yeah, I'll bet. You know what?
I wonder how that works.
Yeah, can you buy 2 senior tickets even though one
can he
of
go
them's
to Denny? Can he go to Denny's and get dinner with her for free tomorrow, or just her meal free?
I think it's just your meal. I think it's just the birthday meal. And I think you only can get pancakes now.
Should we start looking, now that she's 60, should we start looking for a different video girl? Maybe start giving her a little time off?
Well, no, because the age,
Yeah, because retirement's at 70 now, right? And she's only 62 now?
Yeah, the age is bumped way up now. You can work a lot longer. You don't need to... she's still good. She doesn't need to retire.
And he doesn't even have to help her stretch or bathe or anything until she's 65, 70. I think so. And you got what? She's 63 now, so
yeah, at least
2 years till he has to.
2 years until he has to.
What about Metamucil? I wonder if that's going to be a problem.
I think she already drinks Metamucil.
I know she has one shoe that's a little bigger than the other one. That's what we should get her. We should go buy her some shoes at Walmart.
Okay.
And then we'll just staple a 2x4 to the other one so that her feet
are so she's level.
Yeah, she's super cool. We just got to get her some dance lessons.
This is true.
Love you, Gabby. Happy birthday. All right, let's turn that shit off, and then we'll maybe record some more of this later for the next episode. Thanks, guys. Hey, hang on a second. Thanks for watching. Let's pay some bills real quick. Thanks for watching. If you like these everybody was asking for podcasts, but we don't get a lot of comments. Please comment on the podcast, whatever app you're using to watch them. Leave comments in the YouTube videos. We actually reply back to them. If you fucking hate us, say that, whatever. We don't make any money from these, so the hopes is that we entertain you, give you some education on our company or other companies in the industry or history on this type of stuff that maybe other people won't tell you. We are in. Why is it blinking?
I don't know. Why is it
charge battery? Okay. So one way you can support us that we do make money off of that will cost you nothing is if you go to our website, there's an Amazon button. If you click the Amazon button, it will take you to Amazon. It does not cost you anything more. Doesn't smell any different. Doesn't taste any different. It's like licking that thing and it's still clean. It doesn't even smell like she's had the same panties on for 2 days. Click that Amazon button and it goes to Amazon. Anything you buy in the next 48 hours on Amazon, we get a little percentage of it.